The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find. The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style.
Caitlin Law, new VP at the Village Elementary. Thank you for joining me on the Big H Podcast.
Thanks, Mike. I'm really excited to be here. Super excited.
Had to move pencils out of the way just so we got a good shot of the table and you. So how long have you been here? About 5-6 weeks with the start of school?
Yeah, so I started with Hilton over the summer, transitioned right in because I was super excited. But yeah, just since the start of the school year, and it's been a really great start to the school year. I'm really happy to be here.
And tell us a little bit about where you came from.
Yeah,
in terms of schools.
So my educational journey so far, so I was a music teacher back in the day. I started out teaching in a middle school in Baltimore. And then when I moved back with my husband and my oldest from Baltimore to Rochester, I taught in the city school district for about 9 years. And then found my way into school leadership and did district level position for a year, and really loved that, but I really loved being in a building. And then I applied for an assistant principal position in Fairport. So that's where I was leading up to Hilton. And then when I saw this opening, I just knew it was the right place and fit for me. So I'm just honored to be here and part of the Hilton community. It's just been a dream.
So you're a resident of Hilton too. This is where your family resides?
Yeah. So I live here. I grew up here. So I feel like the last couple of weeks, my world has been colliding with just, someone who went through the Hilton school district, grew up here, was raised here, and then now choosing to raise my children here. And so it's just been really special and given just a whole nother love for wanting to pour back into the community. So it's definitely been really just amazing.
And I'm trying to age you, but what year did you graduate from Hilton High?
I am a 2006 graduate.
2006. Yep. And what were some of the teachers there, and maybe if they're still there, what was your feel of the district at that point?
I often found my way into the music department, hence why I went into being a music teacher. There are still a few teachers that are in the district that I remember and were just, I don't know, I'll always remember them as some of my favorite teachers. I was never a mathematician by any means, but I did end up taking even another year of math because of Mr. Johnson. Shout out to Mr. Johnson over in the high school. He's just a great teacher. But yeah, as far as some of the other teachers that I just, really gravitated to was my music teachers growing up.
What type of instruments did you play?
So I played clarinet, and I was a singer. So I ended up going to college with a vocal focus. I probably was better at the clarinet than singing, but I always loved, I really loved singing. So it felt like the right, journey for me when I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do.
So with the clarinet, I know when I was going through school, they had solo fests and things like that. Did you ever participate in those?
Yep. Yeah, I did Solo Fest and All State, and it was just a good way to kind of push yourself to, be better and, work with, different people and everything. So those were always really great experiences. And it was nice because I had participated in those as a student. So when I transitioned into being a music teacher, I was familiar with the process and everything, and was excited to bring that to my own students.
Tell me a little bit about, or if it did at all, those solo fest situations or being on stage and you're trying to nail the song. How does that help in your day-to-day life now as a VP?
So I think going through being like a music teacher really helped, I don't know, in my like school leadership journey. When you think of a composer or a conductor of an orchestra, and you
I
have
like the
all of
analogy.
the different components of like the instrument families, the individuals, and their important parts of the piece that they're playing, and like bringing it all together for this beautiful orchestration. And I don't know, I think like just being able to like utilize that as like a music teacher, and then seeing like as a school leader all the different components of what makes, you know, just a great school experience with, you know, the team that you have. You've got, you know, your teachers, your SRPs, your kitchen, your custodian, like everything, the students, and how it all comes together. So I think that being a music teacher and having that experience really like fueled my passion for going into school leadership, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. I really like the connection in the theme that you did,
Yeah, and I think what
being
always
part of a
like
band and part of
yeah,
a
and I always
bigger
think
thing.
like what drew me to music was I loved like singing and I loved playing clarinet, but I think what really like drew me to it was the connection that you had with like, you know, your band or your chorus, and like all coming together, and like you're working on your individual part, but then when it all came together and it was good, it was just really powerful. So I always liked being a part of a group. You know, for performances, solo singing or playing was always frightening to me, but I think that also helped, I don't know, just build confidence and just being an individual. But the part I loved the most was like the people and the like being together.
Yeah, because a lot of your job now as an administrator is in front of people.
Yes. Yeah. So I give a lot of credit to having to perform, and especially like when you're in college and everything, like you have to do a lot of solo performing, and it really tests your confidence and helps build that. And so I think it was, I don't know, it was just really good for me to kind of go on that journey, push me outside of my shell, even as an extroverted person.
Right. Tell me about a time, and it could have been with your instrument or vocals, that you struggled and you came out of that getting stronger.
So I remember in high school, and if my high school band teacher ever hears this, she'll probably laugh, but um I was very social, and I kind of, I don't know, I let that kind of get the better of me, and I didn't
Okay.
practice as much and everything. So you can be in wind ensemble when you're like at that like upper level, and I had started out as like a really strong clarinet player, and I remember one year just being social and everything, and I didn't practice as much, and I had to go through a year of not being in that upper level performing group. And I remember like that really hitting me of like, wow, I did this, like I didn't put in the work for it. So by the about mid-year, I really put the work back in to like I wanted that, and ended up getting switched back in. But it really was one of those moments of like, you need to practice, you need to put in the work. It's not just something that's like given to you. So that was just something that like I remember experiencing, and that like it was a good lesson for me.
I like how you self-reflected on that,
Yeah,
took
it was.
responsibility, and
Yeah,
made a comeback.
yeah. So it was a good lesson learned, and I put the work in. So I carry that with me. Like you have to put in the work if you want anything in life. I think the same thing for sports. Like if you want to excel within them, you have to put the work in. And same thing with learning.
Now, in terms of vocals, what level of voice do you have? Like,
Soprano.
you're a soprano.
Yep.
So is that like high, or what is that?
Yeah, it's very
What's
it's very I can sing very high. I haven't been practicing in a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, I could back when I was actively performing. I was a very high soprano. Yep.
So when you're actively performing, does that mean you're playing gigs, or you're playing like with a concert? Well, what did that mean?
So when I was in college, they had you like you were performing all the time, but then as a teacher and you're like actively using like your voice all the time, you're putting it in that like correct headspace, and I did vocal lessons for students for a long time as well. So it's just, it's the same thing as if you're playing a sport or any like riding a bike or whatever. Like you have to put in the work to keep it, it's a muscle. You have to work it. So yeah, so I would say like it's been a little bit. I don't actively use my singing voice the same way, except for if I'm like driving in the car, but that's not the same.
And everybody sings great in their own car or shower.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to go on The Voice, what song would you pick and by what artist? I wasn't planning to ask this, but.
Oh, well, I have my go-to karaoke songs.
Yeah, like, yeah, what is it? Or what are they?
Currently, wow, I've been on like a Lady Gaga kick.
Okay, good. And is there a particular song, or is it just like that type of genre of Lady Gaga? Because she's tough to emulate.
She did a movie, A Star Is Born, where I really liked the music that was in it. So
was that with Bradley Cooper?
It was with Bradley Cooper, yeah.
And I think my wife and daughter even watched it together. They loved that movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie. So I loved a bunch of the songs from that. So that's been on my like go-to list lately.
Do you have Spotify?
No, I do have Amazon Music.
Well, yeah. Christmas is coming up. You could ask for it from Santa.
I do like my Amazon Music.
Okay.
It was
all right.
good.
Whatever gets it out to you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
So for undergrad, I went to Nazareth University. I still try to call it Nazareth College, but I went to Naz. And then for my master's, I did Boston University. And then for my leadership program, I did the U of R admin program.
Now, going back to Nazareth University, did you live on campus or did you commute?
I lived on campus for a year, and then I moved off campus for the remaining 3.
And right away, did you declare an educational major in music?
Yep. Yeah, I started out right away as a music ed major.
Okay. And did you take any minors in it, or you pretty much
just did music? Because when you go for music, it's, at least when I went through it, was a 4.5-year program, but you could get it done within 4 years. So I had to do the winter courses and summer courses every year in order to finish in like a 4-year time frame because of how many credits you have to take to be able to be a music ed major. So I didn't have a minor just because it was already a pretty hefty load.
Now, Boston University, how'd you end up choosing that?
So I did my master's online, and when I was looking and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I also knew that I was going to be moving. So online kind of felt like the best route to go. So it was looking for master's in music at that point, because I hadn't really like figured out if I wanted to branch out of music at that point. So it kind of just through my research, I ended up finding it, but it was a wonderful program.
And did you have to work at that time too, or were you able to just take class?
I was working full time, and I had a 1-year-old, and it was awesome. Actually, every time I've gone back to school, I've had a small child or 2. So it just makes it so much more fun.
Sure. And then Boston University. Okay. Was that online? I forgot.
Yep. That one was online.
All right. And then U of R.
So U of R.
How many hours is that, and how long does it take to go through their leadership program?
So when I started out at U of R, it was in person, and then the pandemic hit and everything switched and went online. So I was trying to finish it pretty quickly. I think it took me 1.5 years. I think that's typically the like U of R time frame. Whatever they gave is what I was like, I'm going to do it. I had just had my youngest daughter maybe 4 or 5 months before I started the program. And I was ready to learn. I was super excited. And I don't know, it worked out that way. Every time I had a kid, I ended up back at school.
And tell me a little bit about what it was like having a family and then being a full-time student or, full-time work. How'd you manage all that?
Color-coded calendars and tagging in my village. So at that point, I had actually moved back to Hilton, and my parents are here. So I was able to have them help out a lot, which I don't think I could have gotten through because Chris works too. And so they were just a huge help. So it was one of those things where when I finished the program, you have your certificate and everything. I'm like, guys, we earned this, like all of us together, because I couldn't have done it without them. And I remember when it came in and everything, like taking a picture with my daughters and then getting a picture with the family and everything. I'm like, we all did this together. Thank you. Like it was a collective effort. So it was busy, but I think, it's one of those things where you can sit on a decision of like, is this the best time to do it? There's always something. And I knew that when I had started thinking about going back for that no matter what, it was going to be busy. So it just felt like the right time. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your family, mom and dad, where you grew up, maybe a little bit of what they did, and then your family.
Yeah. So my parents actually are also Hilton graduates. They are both they both work at Kodak. My dad's partially retired at this point. And my brother also went through Hilton too. He went through RIT for something with computers, I forget. But yeah, I grew up right here, right down 259. And it was great.
That's great. Yeah. And then tell me a little bit about your husband and your kids.
Yeah, so my husband is from Baltimore, so we are a house divided during football season.
Because we know who you like around here.
Yes, big Bills fan. So yeah, anytime the Ravens and Bills play, it's not a happy household in the Law House, because my oldest daughter is also now taken on a love for the Ravens as well. So it's fun, but not fun. I don't look forward to when they play each other, especially in a playoff game. I met him at Naz. He played lacrosse there, so he's coaching lacrosse now here in Hilton, and he loves it. So I lived in Baltimore with him for a little bit after Naz, and then when our oldest was about 1, we were looking at houses down in Baltimore, and then started looking around here. We're like, it would be a good move to move back. So we lived in Fairport for a little bit, and then when we had my second daughter, when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, my mom had said, if you move out here, I will help get the kids off the bus. And I was like, that sounds great. Right. So we built here in Hilton and have been here since my youngest was a baby.
And so you got the 3 kids. One of them's in middle school?
Yes.
Okay. And then we're
loving middle school. Shout out to Merton. Thank you for an awesome experience so far.
All right. You got a nice report from Mrs. Law. And then your other 2 kids, probably the youngest isn't in school yet?
Nope. I got a 1st grader and a 3rd grader.
Really? Okay. Yeah. And they're at Quest or?
Yeah, they're over at Quest.
Okay. All right. It'd be interesting if mom was the administrator and they had to go to school.
Anybody who knows my kids know that they would be all over that. So It's a great thing that they're over at Quest with Mr. Warren and their friends over there.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad they're having a good experience. Yeah. Baltimore, how many years were you there?
Oh, goodness. I was there, I don't know, maybe 4 years.
And what'd you think of that area?
I thought Baltimore was great. Mm-hmm. I was fresh out of college. It's a fun city. I loved going to baseball games, big baseball fan, and held on to my college ID because at the time you could go and see a baseball game for $5 if you showed your college ID. So we were frequent flyers with going to baseball games. Nice. I had a great experience in Baltimore. I also love seafood, so it was wonderful. I'm actually going to go visit for a friend's wedding soon, so it's nice. A great city. I loved it. It was hot. That was probably the only thing I have to say is the heat did not agree with me. That and if it did flurry in the wintertime, the whole city would
shut down.
Yeah, they'd be upset. But yeah, I had a great experience in Baltimore. I liked the quick access to baseball and football. I'm a huge sports fan, so I thought that was really fun. Yeah, so it was a good city. Great city.
Yeah, getting to know you. I know you're a big sports fan. Did you play sports too, or were you just pretty much a music person that kept you busy?
Yeah, I did a lot of music, but I played just sports outside of like school and stuff and like the neighborhood. I was a pretty active kid, just generally.
All right. Now you're probably like you wanted to talk about what's going on in Village, and I'm asking all this background stuff, but I like to learn about my guests.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about Village. Once you in, it's going to sound like it's espionage. When you infiltrated the building, and got to know it, and what are some things that you've been able to get off the ground, or what are some things that you plan to get off the ground?
So my start to the school year here at Village, I am just so honored and grateful to be here. It's just an amazing team that we have here, just getting to know everyone. Like my first goal was just, that relationship piece with getting to know students and staff. And I think what was really fun was I knew like some folks coming in just with being, a community member and my kids being here. So like even like with some of the students, they like know my own kids. So it's definitely been a really fun experience. Like I said before, my world's been like colliding where it's familiar but new. And like Village, this is a wonderful school. Like everyone's been so like kind and welcoming. So it's just been, I just feel so lucky and blessed to be here. Some of the things that I've kind of kickstarted, with being new, and I love like, your podcast and everything. I started a morning show here, with, our community school site coordinator, Mr. Brown. So when I was looking to figure out who my co-host would be, I was trying to figure out like, someone that, the kids are familiar with, the team is, and I met him over the summer, and, there was the rec program here, and we were out for like I think a fire drill, and I saw like the kids were so excited to see him, and I was like, he would make an excellent co-host. So
good choice.
I asked him, and he was like, yeah, let's do this. So it's been really fun. The kids have been super excited. Like we've been trying to do shout outs for classes for showing we've started the Cadet Way, which was something as like a PBIS team that we had talked about over the summer, and, what those like character traits would like kind of embody. And with, the Hilton Cadets, it was like, what does it mean to be a Hilton Cadet? So we kind of tied that in. So we've been incorporating that into the morning show. And then, just looking at like the communication and like family engagement piece has been something that I've been really wanting to pour into, just from, a parent perspective, wanting to make sure like, I know the day to day is really busy. So I think as much that we can get out to our families and our team here, as far as like what's going on at Village and celebrating it and, getting things out so that parents feel like they, can engage with the school, I think has been, something that I've been really wanting to focus on, and hopefully it's been good for everybody.
It has been very good. I can attest to it. And talk to me a little bit about tomorrow is going to be our second assembly. Talk to me a little bit about the assemblies and what they're all about focusing on.
Yeah, so kind of back to the Cadet Way that we've been doing. So with our positive behavior, matrix that we've been working on, it's teaching kids what it means to be responsible, respectful, and a learner. So like, what does that look and feel like when you are in the cafeteria, in the classroom, and in gym? Like teaching kids like those behaviors is really helpful because, they're learning and there's mistakes made with behavior. But I think the more that we can like talk about it and show like what is that expected versus unexpected behaviors. So the assemblies that we've been doing are an opportunity for us to get the kids excited about it and celebrate the good things that are happening, because it gets them just, I don't know, it's one of those fun like school memories, you get together for an assembly. But like one of the things we're going to do is highlighting a character trait from our matrix and, asking like even in our assembly tomorrow, having kids come up and show us like, what would it look like to be responsible in the cafeteria? Like here's your tray and like, making sure you pick up after yourself. So it's just kind of acting it out, showing them, and then also celebrating our kachas at these assemblies too for some of those behaviors that people have seen, our students doing and staff. So we'll incorporate that into our assemblies too.
I mean, I can say with the Katyas, when a kid gets their name and called in their homeroom, they really do beam up. So it's a pretty big deal in front of the, whatever grade levels. I think it's really cool that, I don't know whose decision it was, but to have the assemblies at the same time and have one split off over in one place and the other, it just seems to like everybody is thinking about the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's a nice way like to bring the school together. Even, it's a big school, so to have everybody there in the same space is a little challenging, but like, primary and intermediate, like just to be able to celebrate like the good things that are happening here, I think it's a powerful moment for kids, and it's an experience for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things too, it's outside of their normal routine. So it makes it something special. So then, they have that to look forward to, like, oh, maybe I'll be recognized next month, or I was recognized this month. So it's just a great way to celebrate them and, all the things that are happening.
Now, in terms of, I want to go back to Good Morning Village. Okay. Explain to our viewers some of the guests or the class guests that you've had on.
Yeah. So we're always open to guests. Sometimes they're a little spontaneous, but we've been trying to invite either students or whole classes to come on now that they've kind of learned our slogans of like,
which is
Morning Village. And then our theme for the year is be the champion that you want to be, which we kind of like, I was looking for an idea over the summer of like, what is something that we can weave in every day with these lessons that we want kids to learn? So like thinking of being a champion, we each have our own like individual passions and things that we're excited about, but there's things collectively that we can work on. So like I might be a champion reader. I love to read, like, and we can, have that be like highlighted for like even a month here at the school. We can champion kindness. We can be healthy champions. So it's just a nice way to like, if we're focusing on a certain topic as a school, to kind of bring it back together with something that we say every day. So it just kind of connects it. So I do have kids, like if I pass them in the hallway and they'll be like, be the champion you want to be. I'm like, you got it. So
you're making a difference, right?
It's catching some steam here in the building. It was a nice way too, with being new, as I was getting to know the students, because they were seeing, like if I wasn't able to like see them individually every day, if I were passing the class like in the hallway, where kids would be like, I saw you. And I'm like, oh, where did you see me? And they're like, I saw you on the TV. I'm like, that's exciting. And then they like, it was like a nice way for, I don't know, us to get messaging out, but also like a quick connection piece. So it's been really exciting. And now I have kids coming up. They're like, can I guest star on the show? Teachers have asked like about having their class come on. So it's just, I don't know, it's been really exciting to see the whole school like kind of come around it. And highlight some of the fun things. We've also been able to do like birthdays on it. If there's a PBIS lesson that needs like a reminder on like, we're seeing some things like cafeteria, we want to like give a quick message out or highlight events that are happening here. It's a great way to like get the information out.
Now, the be the champion you want to be, I loved it. What about Carrie Underwood and Ludacris when she has, you are a champion? Did you ever hear that song? I know it's
don't recall that one.
You don't?
I'm going to listen to it on my Amazon Music.
On your Amazon, I want you to listen to it because it kicks. Tell me a little bit about the readathon that you've been doing and the incentives that the kids have for it, because you and Dr. Rudd and Ms. Ikas are heavily involved in that.
Yeah, so it was one of our first like school fundraisers of the year. So those are really helpful for us with, just getting things for the kids and our school team here. It's just a great way to like, as a school community, come together collectively and raise money for things happening. But we had a really great start with our readathon. I think we ended up at around like $5,200 raised for the school. So that'll go like into school field trips and things for the kids and stuff. And Vepto sponsors it. We had some fun incentives. So one of the first things for like a benchmark was we, as an admin team, would wear a silly costume. So we hit that one very quickly.
Well, you're not going to get away with not telling them your silly costumes.
So
I
was a pickle.
Pickle.
Miss Ikas was a lion and a flamingo. She had 2 costumes.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. So she had a flamingo. The pajama, like full body, those are warm. So
Yeah.
she had a backup one. And then Dr. Rudd had a cheeseburger costume.
He was rather cheesy.
Yeah. A little bit cheesy. Yeah. And then our second milestone was fun colors in our hair. So I had a purpley pink. Kim had rainbow hair, and then what did Ben have? Oh, he had red.
He had red, right?
Yeah.
Now you dyed the ends of your hair?
We did the spray.
Okay.
And it ended up washing out easier than I thought it would. Sometimes when I've done the sprays, it doesn't quite come out.
So what's the third goal that you're how much do the kids have to? So
our goal was $7,500, and that was for us to be made into giant ice cream sundaes. But even with not hitting the goal, I don't want to spoil any surprises. We are going to be celebrating the fact that we did a really great job. So stay tuned for what might come out of that, even though we didn't quite get there. Good sports. Yes. Yeah. We just want to be able to celebrate that the kids and team just did a nice job. So we have something fun planned. Okay. To celebrate the kickoff. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. Also, you brought some things along. Hilton's starting to explore community schools, correct? Yep. Explain a little bit in layman's language what that is, and you brought along also your notes or your cheat sheet. So we, for Village, adapted the community school strategy. So it's just a really nice way to kind of bring a framework together for just more resources and everything for our students here. So that's kind of when we talked about like Mr. Brown, my co-host, he's now our site coordinator here. And, that's just going to provide more opportunities for our students and families and welcoming in our community partners because here in Hilton, we have a lot of great partners and friends and resources. And it's how can we, when we know that like kids and families need something here at school, and we identify that, how do we bring in those community supports to, help them? And, not just for like individual, but just, our school in general. So the framework that we have, it kind of just gives us this path of like, what are some things that we can focus on? So one of the things that we're working on is that like powerful family and student engagement. So just like really like hearing from our students and families, like that's kind of the first part of the journey is like, what is it that our stakeholders are asking for? Like, what is it that we need in order for them to feel connected and thriving here at school? So I think like this being the first year with being on our community school journey, it's kind of setting the framework for everything and that, the building blocks of it. So that's where like the communication piece has been huge, is making sure that like, families have what they need to feel like they can engage with the school. And they have like, what's going on here. And then, listening to our different like stakeholder groups. So our students are a powerful voice that we want to be able to listen to, like to make sure that they do feel connected and that they have what they need to be successful here. So one of the pieces to that I've been working on is kind of mapping out, and this has been really helpful with being new, is what does the whole year look like for Village, of like, what are those engagement pieces that happen here, like month to month? What does that look like in our classrooms? What does that look like school wide? So like being able to map that out so we have just our roadmap forward, but then it's easy for us to communicate that out with families too, because we also want to be able to say like, hey, we have these volunteer opportunities. We want you to be able to come in and participate in your child's learning. And so that's been something that we've been working on, is like what is that roadmap for engagement for the school? And that's been helpful as someone new coming in too, because each month everything's going to be, fresh and new. So just being able to like talk with teachers, talk with staff, talk with students about like, oh yeah, like we do this during this month. And it helps me if I'm part of like the planning piece too, to be able to plan out, okay, I need to do this by this time. So it's not like, I don't know, a last minute thing.
Talk to me a little bit about that calendar that you set up that had the entire year set up with superintendent's days, days off from school, that you could I could send it to parents.
The at a glance. So I will totally give all the credit to our high school friends, Jeff Green and his team. They had a calendar at a glance. That was a great resource that we were like, hey, I think we need to have that here for our families. Like I said, I think like the more that we can get things out that like our families can see and plan out for, the more that they like, as a working parent, I know I have to plan way in advance to be able to like do something like with my kiddos. So I think the more that we have great resources like that and like have it out to families, the easier it is for them to plan, especially if they got kids in multiple buildings.
Yeah, and a lot of them do. And, we know that the consultation days, there's a lot of half days, and sometimes it's a half day for K-6, sometimes it's for K-12, sometimes you have conferences after 3:30.
Yeah.
It's really nice for parents to get that in the beginning of the year, and then they can go on their big calendar and just mark it all up.
Mark it out, call who they need to. Like I said, I had to call in my village, like anytime I had, a busy time. And so I think like the more we can get out to our families, just the easier it is, for them.
What kind of communication pieces do you use? Personally, as a classroom, I want, you probably do Parent Portal, right?
The Parent Square?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Parent Square.
Parent Square.
Parent Square.
I use Remind still. I'm one more year and then I'm going to switch over. But yeah, go ahead. Are there other methods that you can use, or can parents, plug into the HCSD school district and then go to the village page? Because isn't there one site now that I don't know who did it?
Yep. So I worked on a website. So I love technology. So did one for our village team for staff, but also working on continuously building one for our families to be able to utilize the Family Connection site. Long-term goal with that is having as much information on there. So like, for example, if I was a new student, like moving in, that would almost be like my handbook as a parent, like with my child, to be able to like reference. So then our family like newsletter that I do is also embedded on there. So it's not having to hunt things down. It would be just that like one-stop shop of like, here's all things village, and just trying to make it beautiful and friendly. Because we're an elementary school, we want it to be, fun and
user friendly. But yeah.
So yeah, I've been working on that. That's going to be like an ongoing project with, just being new. And as I go through like the year and like, talking with our team and keep adding things to it. And I think what will be helpful too is, I'd like to ask, our families too, like, what are some things that you need from us? So like, I think those conversations, which it's nice because like my kids are here, so I can have like, less, not necessarily at school, but like, if I'm sitting with someone at like a sporting event, like, hey, like, what are some things that you might like want on the site? So it's nice to be able to have the like formal conversations, but also those informal of like, what is it that we need? So those opportunities have been really good too.
Are you always on now that you're an administrator in the school district? And what I mean by that, like, people know you now wherever you go. Do you ever have that, like, I just want to throw on a ball cap, and do you?
Not quite yet. I knew what I was signing up for with like being here. And I was excited for it. So it's been really good. I try to go to like even our football games. Like that's something my family's always enjoyed, is going over for like the varsity games. So like it's definitely, I would go over and like watch if my daughter does like cheerleading if they do like junior cadet night and kind of just going and watching. But it's been really fun to see like our village students there and some of our like our staff too, who have kids that are like playing or their kids are there, just same thing, watching the game. So I think like that's been something that's been really exciting for me as someone who grew up here and a community member now, and I'm embracing it. I think it's been really fun.
Yeah, because being an administrator, even a teacher, you're kind of a celebrity.
I mean, I don't know.
I think when you walk
I
up,
do have like a lot of people
there's
greeting me.
Mrs. Law. She's at the family diner.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. Like
Yeah.
I do run into. I was getting a pizza recently, and I ran into a few students, and I think it's really, I don't know, it's been really wonderful. Just
Good.
I've really loved it. As long as the law girls are doing what they're supposed to.
Now
Sometimes
you
they're
said
busy.
they were all about it, but would they give you a run for your money if they were a student in your building?
My children.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Uh,
They are
Now, is that-
they're very chatty. We'll just put it. They're very chatty.
Now, do they take that away from their mother or their father?
We're both very chatty.
Chatty.
The law house
law
is
trait.
the loud house. We are just everyone talks over each other, so it's a fun time.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, you were talking about the community schools and hooking up with community partners. What type of community partners? Give me some examples of what they would be once this started rolling.
Yeah, so I know one of the ones we've been kind of like starting to have more regular conversations with would be like the HP Rec program. They serve a lot of like our students here, so I think like setting a framework for like how can we help each other. So Mr. Brown's been setting up like meetings to try to like engage more with them. We've also had Scouts of America that we've been trying to, and they'll actually be, both of those community partners will be at our Fall Fest tomorrow.
Could you please talk about that? That's one of the reasons I wanted to do the podcast.
Yeah, so we have the second annual Fall Fest tomorrow here at Village. Gonna have a couple food trucks, some games. It's a nice way to like invite our families and students here just to have some fun and just spend time together. So
It's a wonderful idea.
We've got a fall like tattoo thing that we're gonna do. We'll have a craft, and actually I'm really excited about the craft. We are going to be doing fall leaves that families can decorate. And then we are going to collect the leaves and make a big family tree here at the school to display them like on, because it's our whole community family tree. So it's going to be really cute. And thank you to Bepto for helping us out with the crafting supplies for that.
Thank you, Vepto.
Yeah.
Fall Fest, what time does it start and go to?
5 to 6:30. So we are doing, I think last year it had been a partially outside and inside event. And this year we're just going to be outside for the hour and a half. Just, it's a nice, like quick little gathering.
It is. It's on a Friday night and you can still go to a haunted hayride or you can go carve a pumpkin.
Some other things too, but again, like that family engagement piece, just being able to like welcome our families and students here at Village and have some fun together.
Love the idea of the food trucks too. Mom and Dad don't have to cook. It's a step up from the pizza,
Yes,
which is not bad.
It's just a couple of food trucks, but I think it's just a fun little addition. So I'm excited. It's going to be my first one here at Village, so I'm excited to kind of see it all come together. I was part of the like planning team for it, and we're just excited to kind of let it happen. It's going to be fun.
Are you going to dress as your dill pickle?
Nope, not going to be.
Not at that one. Did you go to the Apple Festival?
I did, yeah.
And did you get a lot of shout outs?
I did get quite a few shout outs at the Apple Fest.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Good.
Yeah, I always love the Apple Fest.
It's really nice, isn't it?
And it was beautiful this year. That is one of my like favorite things about like growing up here was even like when I moved away, those were a weekend that I came back for. Apple Fest was always something that like I looked forward to, was nostalgic about. So it's just an exciting thing as a parent now to be able to like bring my own children to.
Got a couple more questions for you. What do you see as one of your strengths, and what do you see as something that you're working on?
What are my strengths?
My strength is my greatest weakness.
I try to, I don't know, I do try to be really positive and just bring like joy. I know there's, and this is, you know, throughout life, but there's always like, you know, heavier times and whatnot. But I think like something that I bring with me as a person is I really stand behind wanting, you know, for our school and, you know, my family and everyone just to feel joy and have that positivity. Something that I'm always working on is just making sure, and I try to do this actively, but not lose sight of it, is just always pausing and reflecting. Like, you know, as you're trying new things and being a risk taker or, you know, learning something new, just making sure to pause, ask for the feedback and reflect on it. And I think the vulnerability, like with asking the feedback. So I don't know that it's a weakness per se, but it's always something that I try to remind myself to do is just reflect and seek feedback just because you know better and you can do better. And yeah.
I think that's very powerful because you mentioned the word vulnerable or vulnerability. When you're asking like, hey, can I have some feedback on this? You know, you're going to get some positives and you might get some criticism. So you got to kind of take the good or the bad.
Yeah.
So
And again, like with, you know, getting to know everybody, I think like that's part of the journey is not making assumptions that like, yeah, everything is great and not pausing to take the time to make sure that people are, you know, are doing okay and finding that joy. So I think they kind of go hand in hand with wanting to have that for like my team and everyone is making sure to like just regularly pause and ask the questions.
You've been in Baltimore, you worked in Fairport, so now you're in Hilton where you live and you work. What makes the village town special? And then I'm going to ask about the school district, or you can include them both.
The town in general, like I think just I don't know, with like growing up here, it's always going to it's home. It has that like I don't know, I love where I grew up. What's special about it? I guess everything. Like, you know, I chose to come back here and raise my kids here. I was a proud Hilton graduate. I had a great schooling experience here. I don't know, it just is a place of pride for me to be able to be a parent in this community. And it's what's nice is it's the same, but it's different. Like, you know, coming back, I felt like it was so familiar, but then you have new faces and people, and obviously like you're in a different like phase of your life. So it's, I don't know, it's just it's a fun experience, like coming back to be a parent here. Which probably didn't answer the question.
No, I mean, it's a tough question.
It's home.
But yeah,
it feels like home. And like what's cool too, if we want to segue to the school district thing, is like even being in this building is nostalgic for me because this is where I went to elementary school. So it's I don't know, it's like a full circle moment of not only did I like go through here and like my kids are here, but it definitely has a different feeling where I've loved all the schools and districts that I've been in, but it has felt that much more with it being my home. You just want to pour into it and just make it so much better and good and all of it.
Do you remember any of the names of your elementary school teachers or who was principal at the time or anything?
Yes, I do. So Dr. Tlaney was a
Hired
principal
me
here. Let's
You're
see.
a 2006 grad, so I was starting at 1999.
So primary,
Yeah,
I did over in the Quest building because Quest was a hallway here. But I had for kindergarten, I had Mrs. Cobb. I think first grade was Robillard. I had Mrs. Berry for second. I had Mr. Cooling for third, which it's very nostalgic going
Right.
in that classroom. Because I loved third grade. He was quite the storyteller. Fourth grade, I had Marionette. And fifth and sixth grade, I had Mrs. Campling. She loved us so much that she looped.
Uh,
At least I think that.
yeah, so I like to see the names, and these are some people I might reach out to also
See,
catch up on a
well,
podcast. I know
and what's
Mr.
fun
Cooling
is
has passed on, but
remembered. Like,
yeah,
I had such a great experience that I can remember all my teachers' names.
you nailed them. Boom, boom, boom. You talked about a different phase of your life, projecting out 5 years. Where do you want to be?
I want to be here in Hilton.
Mhm.
I hope you all love me.
I want to be tenured. I want to. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a rise to like a building principal or an administrator, like high up central office? Is that something that you might want to do? Or, it's none of my business. You can tell me too.
I would love to be a building principal someday. I'm hoping that, just to pour in and get to know Hilton and all the people and just do a good job and kind of see where that takes me. But I'm just honored to be here and kind of see where it goes from there. But I do love being in a building. I think like I like fast pace. I like the connection piece with the kids and the team and everything. For right now, like if I had to see myself somewhere in 5 years, I'm hoping it's a building leader in some capacity.
Well, you're definitely very visible, and wherever you are in 5 years, you want to be close to the kids. You don't want to be so removed.
Yeah, I like as of right now, like I love being in a building. The team component again, like kind of going back to where we started, where what drew me to music was the people, just being part of that, and that's something that's always been part of who I am. So right now, I feel like I have the best job,
Good.
and I'm hopeful someday to be a principal, but I think like for me right now, I'm just so honored to be here, like, and just getting to know everybody. So, yeah.
Is there ever a chance where you like? How does Caitlin Law relax? Like, when do you have time to?
Relax. Well, I do try to read when I can find a moment. I do love camping. We've just started camping, and I like hiking. So not frequently because of just time and stuff, but when I'm not doing stuff like for my kids and what in school and whatnot. But yeah, if I have time, I like to read. So like, shows and whatnot.
Yeah, because if you've ever seen one of my podcasts, which I know you have, I usually like to end with some light questions about favorites. One of them, you had a favorite food?
Grilled cheese.
Wow. That didn't take long.
Yep. Well, yeah, you mentioned the diner. They make an excellent grilled cheese. I am on a mission to find the perfect grilled cheese.
Do you know, I learned this on, I think it was like a TV show. To get a good grilled cheese, you've got to butter both sides of the bread. So when it cooks, the inside of the bread gets crispy too, so it doesn't get soggy.
I've not tried that. And it's funny because I've had this conversation about how to make the perfect grilled cheese, and someone recommended putting mayonnaise on the outside, and I tried that, and it wasn't. It was not good. It wasn't the same, but yeah, you have to butter.
Now that same philosophy goes for peanut butter and jelly. That when you make a peanut butter and jelly, you put peanut butter on both sides of the bread, and then you put the jelly, just one layer of jelly, and then that way you're biting through peanut butter, and jelly, and the jelly won't soggy the bread.
But you have to use the honey peanut butter.
The honey peanut butter? What you talking about, Willis?
Peter Pan.
Peanut butter. Okay. It's funny because the jelly, I don't use a lot of peanut butter and jelly. I think I've had the same jar of jelly in there for like 3.5 years. It's probably expired.
Might be time.
Have you ever seen that commercial for Geico and the ants come over to visit and the one's going through the just say you have, and she's going through the refrigerator. Expired. Okay. No. All right. Let's get back to your questions. Okay. Do you have a favorite movie?
I am a big fan of the movie Hook.
Okay, that's
Robin Williams.
because I was going to think it was that other guy that Johnny Depp. Didn't he do a Hook? Or that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, so Hook. Hmm.
I'm a big fan. I always said it was in my top 3, but then someone recently asked, like, well, what are your other top 2? And I was like, I don't know, actually. So
That's
Hook would
pretty
have to
good.
be my favorite movie.
That's pretty good that you can name one, because most of my guests are like, oh man, I can name 2 or 3.
I have a bunch of movies I like, but that is, I can put that movie on and I'm gonna cry by the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those movies that's it's
it's endearing. It's endearing. Like, I thought Hook, isn't it about like Captain Hook when he loses his hand and
it's Peter Pan has grown up and he has to go back and like rescue his children. It's a very nostalgic movie for me. It's just it's a great movie.
Okay. So you highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
What's it rated? Is it PG-13, PG?
Well, it's a 90s movie, so by today's standards, no, I think it's PG.
Here's my question. Is it on the Schwank?
On what?
You don't know Schwank? Schwank is like the approved movies for the school district. Yes. So it's kind of a joke that Schwank, like, so if you got to go on there to see if it's on there.
I think it might actually be on there, because I know what you're talking about. Yeah. They have a lot of movies on there.
They really do. And I'm going to look that up, because I think I want to watch it, and then my class can write something about it, and then we can bring you in and we can try to dazzle you. Like,
you've probably seen when you see it, you'll probably recognize it.
Do I look like someone that can sit through a 2-hour? All right, going through some favorites. Your favorite food?
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese, without a doubt.
Hands down.
I'm
still on like a quest for the perfect grilled cheese. I've loved grilled cheese since I was a kid. Even sometimes as an adult, if I go out, we'll order grilled cheese. So
do you dip it in soup?
I do like grilled cheese and tomato soup. Yeah, it's a favorite of mine with a lot of. I totally get that trait from my grandfather. He would put so much pepper in his soup that he would sneeze continuously, which is kind of gross to say, but it was one of those things where, like, I always remember seeing him do it. But I like pepper in my tomato soup for grilled cheese. But if I don't have tomato soup, ketchup.
Ketchup?
Yeah.
And I was saying to you earlier off the air, apparently if you make grilled cheese, you're supposed to butter both sides of the bread, and then you put the cheese in. And then what happens is that gets crispy both on the inside of the bread and the outside, and it keeps your bread. I don't know, because the problems I've had with grilled cheese, and I like it too, is it can get a little soggy.
I make a mean grilled cheese, so
okay, so maybe you'll have to bring it. Do you make it in the pan, or do you bring out like the thing where you could make pancakes on? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like a griddle?
Yeah.
I usually will just use like a regular pan.
Okay.
It is better on a griddle or like, a flat surface.
And I gotta say, it's kind of hard when I try to take it out. Like, if I try to scoop it out, but then they say the best way to do it, and I don't know if you do it this way, is you take 2 spatulas. How do you do it? How do you do it?
I cook it open and then get both sides crispy and put it together and then flip flop. It's good to go.
All right.
Everyone's got their own.
Everyone's got their special ways, but that sounds like a trick I'm going to try. All right. Favorite movie?
I love the movie Hook.
Who's the star in that?
Robin Williams. It's a very nostalgic movie for me. Maggie Smith is in it. Maggie Smith. I don't know. It was just a movie I grew up with that even now, like as a parent, like we'll do like movie night with the girls and we'll put it on. They love it too. It's one of those ones that's just, I think, forever stood the test of time in the Law House.
Now, I hit you up with this. Do you think we can find it on the Swank website?
I think it would be on there. Okay. It's in a 90s PG.
Yeah, because like you can sometimes go in there and then you can also ask it to be added. So it sounds like a movie that might be on there.
It's a great movie. It's Peter Pan, grown up. He's going back to rescue his children.
Because he was
Dustin Hoffman is Hook.
Really?
Yeah. Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. It's a great. You've probably seen this movie.
No, I haven't, but I know all those people you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's a great movie. You should watch it. It's
Okay.
a good movie.
All right. Do you have a binge show maybe that you watch, TV show, or that you did in the past?
Well, it's funny you ask. I am on a rewatch of Game of Thrones, which I've done before. Every once in a while, I'll bring back like a favorite show that I'll just put it on, and you can you can kind of do some things around the house or like fall asleep too. And then the next episode shows up and you've maybe missed 3 of them. And you're like, I know what's going on. So I don't know, like Game of Thrones is a fan favorite of mine.
Do you know that those are books first?
Yes.
Okay.
I loved the books. So
Okay.
I watched the show after I read the books.
And I've also heard by a good source, I won't mention his name, that the books are tough to read because it's like.
So the books.
So you must be a pretty good reader.
I love to read. That's something like as a kid, I would crank through books. The books are set where they're told through different character perspectives. So each chapter is someone different, but the time period or the time frame's moving forward. So you have to really like keep up with what's happening with each of the characters, because you may hear of something happening with someone else in a different chapter, like through the perspective of someone else. It's an interesting writing style. I would love if George finished the series. We're still waiting. I don't know that we're ever going to get that, but I read the last book. I think when I was still in Baltimore is when it came out. It's a great book series. Cool. It's a interesting writing style though, and I've read his other books that were Game of Thrones related, and just a great author.
And so you were saying that you're on your second watch, your rewatch?
Oh no, more than that. Yeah, but it's like every once in a while, like I'll put it on and decide like I'm going to start this journey again. But it's not like where you're sitting down and you're making sure you're watching every moment of it. It's more like it's on in the background. So I'm on season 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, today you were played musical DJ. Do you have a favorite musical genre, musical singer, or group?
Now, that one is tough. I can tell you my favorite movie pretty quickly. Musical genre, I like a lot of different music. I think like growing up, I liked a lot of rock, and like, even within the rock realm, there's different genres and stuff. But like I always loved Weezer growing up. So like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you one particular genre that is like my go-to. I don't gravitate towards country, not because I like don't like it, but I don't actively listen to country. That would probably be one that like I would say is if I'm listening to it, it's great, but I don't seek it out. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Well, I
be the champion you want to be.
My own slogan. I use movie quotes a lot when things come up. They just kind of, I don't know, whatever strikes your fancy. Favorite quote. I'll just tell you one that I use every once in a while, and I tagged it on our parent square. If anyone saw this post for the lost and found, not all those who wander are lost. Check the lost and found. You might find what you've lost.
That's very good.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings.
I think you should continue to do that in the parent square. Then keep throwing out those quotes.
Yeah. Well, I used it for the lost and found, but I like random movie quotes. You'll hear that every once in a while. If the moment is, I don't know, if it works out great, I happen to be ready to go with them.
Now, you talked about your favorite TV show being Game of Thrones. I'm going to throw a book. Is that the same? Would you consider that the same thing, or do you have another piece of literature?
So for a while I was only reading books in the like science fiction and like fantasy realm. Like I always loved like the magical realm for like books growing up. And then I went on a nonfiction kick for a very long time, just trying out like some different things. And then I got bored with that, and now I do a mix. But I don't know. I think I have an author that I've really liked
Go for it.
recently. Taylor Jenkins Reid has been an author that I've kind of gravitated to for her writing style. She has a new book that I have yet to read that I'm excited for. I think it's about an astronaut, which is totally outside of like my normal realm. But she's done like a sport novel. Like it's just a cool writing style. She wrote Daisy Jones and the Six. Did you ever see that? It was a TV show?
No, I didn't.
It was a really cool book to read. It was told through a series of interviews with the band members of like a band from like the 70s. And it was just an interesting style of writing and how it was, how the story was told. So yeah, I try to rotate like genres around. I also read a book, I think it's Kristen something, called The Women, and it was about a Vietnam nurse. And that again, it was like not something I was like had normally like genre wise read. Loved it. It was an excellent book. So I think like, in talking about like being reflective and everything, I found that, if you keep going and gravitating towards the same things, you don't have the new experiences. So I've found with like literature, I try to like push myself to try new things and like go outside of my like, oh, that looks like my normal go-to, which has been a really fun journey. And I think that like re-sparked my like joy for like, I've always loved to read, but I have found even in the past like year or two that like I've really, really gone back to like getting into books again, which has been really fun. And I attribute that to with like just trying new genres and throwing some like, ones that like I normally would go to with like science fiction or fantasy. But I don't know. I think it's been fun.
Yeah, I think it's very important because that's what we do a lot with children. They like that realistic fiction, but we know they got to mix in that other genre too. One last question, then I'll give you a chance for closing remarks. Person or people you'd like to have dinner with from history? And it could be familial, it could be anybody.
To have dinner with in history? So
basically to relive stuff with it, if you had the chance to have more moments with.
Oh, I would definitely say my poppy.
Your poppy, that grandpa?
My grandpa, yeah.
And that's the grandpa law or the grandpa on your mom's side?
My mom's.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Grammy and Poppy were like my really close people growing up. We were there like every weekend and just spent a lot of time with them. So
tell me what he was like. What did he do for a living, or what did he do with the grandkids?
Oh, fun fact, he was at Kodak, but he also did real estate for a little bit. And he was, I think, either friends or worked with Mr. Cooling. So I always remember, like, when I was in third grade, I'd be like, my Poppy, which was like looking back on kind of silly, but it was one of the things I just remember. But I don't know. He raised 3 girls, my mom and her 2 sisters. So it's kind of funny. Like now I have 3 girls and we get a lot of the comparison between like what, my mom had growing up, and he just was always very loving, and he was always very supportive of like education and just super proud of like anything that like we would do. And I remember he would ask me like, you're going to get like, are you going to get your doctorate someday? And like, he'd like always be like, I'm so proud of you for like all the things that were like going on. So it was just, it's just, him and my Grammy were my people. My Grammy's still around.
Good. You still have her? He's very proud from up above, and he's looking down on you every day.
Yeah. So he would be just not a pepper-filled soup.
Well, Caitlin, Mrs. Law, thank you for being with me on the Big H podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I was super excited.
I can't pay my guests or anything, but what I can give you is this Big H podcast sticker.
Yay. That's exciting.
You can't put it, remember our tech department, you can't put it on our laptops.
Oh.
But you can put it on anything else.
Okay.
But you know what? You are an administrator, so you can do other things that I'm not going to do.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm excited.
You're very welcome.
For having me on the show.
No, thank you.
I was super excited when you reached out.
Well, thank you for joining me on the Big H podcast. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow night at the Fall Festival. Thank you to the audience for joining us. And if you like what you saw, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. You can catch me on X, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts at the Big H Podcast. Kaylin, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
you can be the champion that you want to be.
That's an ending point.
The Big H Podcast, tune in now. Conversations that'll wow. Laugh and learn, stay a while. Let's explore that Hilton style. From the highs to the lows, every story just explodes. Mike's got questions on the go, diving deep from head to toe. Every week the guests align, sharing moments so divine. Stay with us, the pace is fine. Every episode you'll find